Evening, everyone. It's Middle-Aged Gamer Guy here. How are you? We are back with more E3 coverage, live as it happens, and tonight is no exception. We are going to jump into this. This is the Koch primetime gaming stream. Let's see if we've got any music on this. Don't know. Is it there? It's there. I believe it's there. Should be running. Hopefully it's running. I'm just going to double check that there's people in the chat on YouTube and stuff. Just exit full screen. Yeah, apparently it's just failed. I thought that was the case. I had a clock and I had a countdown for 3 minutes. Hello, Tunes. How you doing? Well, that was quite funny. I saw it and it's going, oh, it's back up again. It's back up again. It's back up again. There you go. There was live sound, but it's gone. So God knows where that's gone. But we don't mind. We don't mind. But I've been running, so hopefully it's working. There you go. There's sound. Hopefully, let me know if you can hear that. That's their music from their coverage. So, for those who don't really know Koch, however you want to pronounce it, they're the people behind Deep Silver, who make the Saints Row games. They make Metro Exodus. There was something really else that popped into my head, and I thought, oh my God, that's a massive game. And I was like, oh no. And it's gone right out of my head. I can't remember. Really bad, actually, because I said it the other night. I was like, oh yeah, they make this, and this. So we don't really know what they're going to unveil tonight. This is going to be an interesting one. So whereas last night was all different types of games, AAA games and stuff, this is all just coming from the one developer tonight. And this is the only showcase tonight, even though it's technically the first proper day of E3. This is the only showcase, whereas tomorrow we got loads. There's about 6 or 7, of which I'm going to cover as much as I can. So we'll see how we go. But literally less than a minute, folks. Less than a minute. I'm hoping this is going to be around about an hour and a half, again, hopefully, or less. So we'll see. Here we go, 10 seconds, folks. Let's see. Here we go. Let's bring this up.
Hello there, guys. My name is Opal Cadman and welcome. Today, I have 3 main tasks. The first one is to introduce you to Koch Media's brand new
that's how you say
premium gaming label. Number 2 is to take a deep dive into some of the games coming to that label. And finally, number 3 is to show you what the new label will be getting up to in the streaming world. I want to welcome streamers who are co-streaming this today. Hello. Some of you guys are guys who I have looked up to and watched for many years.
That's not me.
Speaking of people who I've looked up to for many years, I am so proud to introduce Jeff Keighley, who will be helping me co-host through this entire list of games. Jeff, how's it going?
Thanks, Opal. It is so great to be here with you for the first ever live stream from Prime Matter. I was honored yesterday to reveal the label to the world at the Summer Game Fest kickoff event. And wow, you've got a lot of games there in that sizzle, over a dozen games. So I know today you're going to go a little bit more in depth to talk about all these games, talk to a lot of the developers. But for those of you that might have missed it yesterday or just want to see it again, let's kick things off with a look at that announcement sizzle reel for Prime Matter.
No, I remember this from yesterday, so...
Sometimes I ask myself what it all means. Let's begin.
The new Payday game. That's what everyone's...
Is that who you are?
My purpose makes me who I am.
I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile.
Being relied on to succeed where others would fail.
Gunrave, Last Oriku, Outwards, Scars Above, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Dolmen, Legion, Iron Harvest, Mountain Blade Bannerlord, King's Bounty 2, Codename Final Form, Encased, Echoes to the End, and then clearly Payday 3. That's a lot of games.
Yes, guys, you just saw 12 games and counting. And that's just the start for Prime Matter. But before we get into these incredible games, what I like to call the juicy bits, I want to talk to you about what Prime Matter is and who we are. Prime Matter is the new premium gaming label of Koch Media. It dedicates itself to delivering a range of immersive and diverse games from amazing development talent all around the globe. It highlights the varied influences of global studios and their different approaches to game making. The new label will lead through creativity and expression with games that enthrall players with larger-than-life storytelling.
I'm watching her eyeline because she's obviously got the script just underneath.
They're fun. The team behind Prime Matter is a melting pot of incredible talent, led by seasoned industry veterans and complemented by a young, fresh, dynamic team of multicultural gaming experts. The team behind are gamers at heart, working with such a wide range of passionate developers producing games together by gamers for gamers. And that being said, for all you keen-eyed individuals out there, you would have seen that one game was actually missing in our 12-game lineup for Prime Matter during the video. That is a game that comes from the Embracer family itself. Jeff got to sit down with Todd Hollinshead and talk all about Painkiller.
Painkiller.
All right, you saw the news yesterday. Yes, there is a new Painkiller coming, and Todd is joining me now to maybe give us a few more details. I know this is kind of a fresh project for the team at Saber, and you guys, first of all, I love that you and Tim Willits are there, continuing to build out Saber. And Painkiller was a franchise. You and I are both OG. We remember it was it probably 15 years ago at this point?
Yeah, it's been a while. Closer to 2 decades than 1.
My God. All right. Well, but it's one of those classic games. Let me ask you.
I've never really played it.
Prime Matter perspective. You've been in the industry like all those years, and we remember that game. Why was this a franchise that you guys wanted to sort of bring back?
Well, Painkiller, when I played it back in the early 2000s, this is a game that had, it was dark, a little twisted, intense, cool guns. These are the things that, kind of hit the nail on the head of what appeals to me in a video game, both as, as a fan and then also as a publisher at Saber. So, we're hoping to capture those same sort of elements and bring those into the new game.
Yeah. You guys are certainly masters of doing shooters from all your time at id, and Painkiller does have a lot of that DNA of fast-paced action with a little bit of a twist to it, and the fact you guys are working with Prime Matter is also exciting. Brand new publisher, brand new label. What do you think of the fact that they're doing this label and it's such a diverse lineup of companies and partners around it? I know you guys work with a lot of publishers, but it's pretty exciting to see a new label announced. That doesn't happen every day.
No, it doesn't. And, I think that within the Embracer group, it's just a business that is growing. We've got great leadership at the top. And so Koch Media is, wanting to expand their publishing. And I think that, the name they chose, Prime Matter, sort of is, it's sort of like the primordial soup of putting together stuff from nothing. So, it kind of makes me think of this is what we do when we make video games. You start with Pixel 0, and then at the end of the day, you make a game. So I feel like that, that kind of resonates with hopefully the type of experiences that we're going to be providing, not just within Prime Matter and working with them between Saber and our partnership, but across the Embracer group as well.
Yeah, no, it sounds like they have a lot of games in development, but the fact that you are bringing back Painkiller is really exciting. And I know, fans, of course, want to know a little bit about, what's the game going to look, how's it going to play. Probably can't share a lot of details about it, but you're kind of in the early stages of development now on this.
Yeah, super early. And, if anything that I would share, I'd probably get assassinated for back home once it got back to the developer, because all these the first stuff that comes out almost always gets sort of iterated on and changed, and so we're trying to keep the lid on the details until we have something that's going to be really awesome to show.
All right, well, we'll be waiting for it, and we know with you involved, it's going to be something very special, fast-paced action, I have no doubt. So new Painkiller coming soon from the team at Saber, published by Prime Matter. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Jeff.
I really can't wait to hear more about Painkiller and the fact that Todd and Tim and the team at Saber are working on it.
Be interesting to see what they come up with.
Pretty special when they are ready to share more. So, exciting stuff in that sizzle reel, Painkiller, Payday, but I know there's a lot more we're here to talk about today as well, right, Opal?
Actually, Prime Matter has 12 games under development right at this minute. We're so excited to show you guys what us and the developers have been up to. However, before you see some of the content that we show you today, I do have to make it clear that some of this is pre-alpha, alpha, high-level concept, and some of it is about to release right around the corner.
Okay.
So please keep that in mind when you're viewing today's show. That being said, how do you guys feel about a psychedelic third-person survival horror game?
Okay.
Set on what it means to go on a journey about self-enlightenment and what happens when it all goes wrong. I got to speak with the developers of The Chant, work in progress title, about their game and who they are.
Our game is about a group of people who go to a spiritual retreat to seek enlightenment, and they basically get a little more than they bargained for. And your character has to deal with her own personal issues as well as the cosmic terrors that become awakened.
Cool. So what type of genre is this game?
At the moment, mate, they've just announced, which we heard last night,
with
about
all the different influences
the new Painkiller game
gameplay, but I'd say we're
and they're
probably
talking about a new horror game.
Cool.
That's in development.
What was the
you haven't missed much,
behind
mate.
That genre? Is it something that you guys like?
To be honest, it's been about 10 minutes of just
it came left
chat
field.
at the moment.
What's your decision behind that?
Personally,
they are going to talk about the new Payday, hopefully.
Wanted to make a horror game. A big part of our core team have a background in third-person sandbox
CESVI,
games.
mate. You're going to have to explain that one to me. Hello,
really
Zaps, by the way.
To combine action mechanics, deep storytelling, and we felt that the horror genre was a really exciting space.
Yeah, but not on this.
Take
that will be
background and play around with.
Elder Scrolls 6, I can guarantee, will be on the Xbox/Bethesda
Why
showcase.
Why did you decide to go with that theme?
This
it's
is
not
everything
really
to do with
normally what
Koch
you would
Gaming
see,
and Deep Silver and Saber Interactive.
Thing. So what was the idea behind that?
We thought it was just kind of an interesting territory to explore.
Saturday or Sunday night. Hang on, let me check the schedule.
There's a lot of
influence. In fact, check my schedule
from that, with
where it says Xbox/Bethesda
and Giallo.
It's either tomorrow night or
that, really inspired
Sunday
us.
Night. I can't remember. There's that many of them.
And taking that kind of aesthetic, something that was very
have a look, mate, and then remind me because I need reminding.
And mixing it in with
I'm doing that many of these things.
Kind of more action-oriented and exploratory game mechanics.
It's like we're going to be doing a Ubisoft one.
A fresh take on the horror.
A few of us.
So, kind of speaking about your inspirations and stuff,
Square Enix.
What video games, real life media has inspired you to create this title?
Well, going way back when Resident Evil 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Alone in the Dark, Eternal Darkness. So a lot of games are very inspirational to us. Our game actually started off as I think they'll announce as a game with fixed camera angles and so forth, and then we over the course of development, just especially really focusing on bringing more of an action element to it. We've since switched to an over-the-shoulder camera and haven't looked back.
So kind of talking about changes and what you guys are doing on the development side, how close is the game to like the original concept? I understand you guys are still developing the game's quite far out, but from your original concept to where the game is now, how much has that differed?
The core story and I'd say the aesthetic and the themes, those all remain intact. I'd say our gameplay, as our team size grew, we added deeper mechanics. I'd say more action to the game. Our game actually has a fair amount of combat in it, especially on the melee side. Those were things that weren't too prevalent in our original concept, and a lot of those things are just kind of based on we're
nice to be
very
actually see
small
some
team at
gameplay.
first. We're still a
I
relatively
know we've had one
small
trailer,
team,
but at the moment, like we're
every new
15
person
minutes
that joins,
in, and
brings something new to the mix.
even if
So
it was
I'd say on
concept
that
art,
end,
man, that'd be cool.
The game has evolved in scope and depth of gameplay.
Awesome. Kind of sticking on that point of, you got a small team, there's a lot of challenges that comes with that. What was the hardest part of making the game so far?
The hardest part was probably trying to make a game that has more realistic production values, because that's where our
that's cool, dude. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I get
that. On a smaller scale and budget. So for us, we had to be very strategic, utilizing Unreal.
Tunes the mod, meet
we wouldn't
the
been
mod.
able to build this game without utilizing an engine like Unreal. Previously, we had worked on more proprietary technology. And that's also great because new people that join the team can get up and running on the engine quite quickly. In addition to that, we've been using photogrammetry from the start for both our environments. All of our characters are also scanned actors, and we're using, also tapping into a lot of what's going on in our city. Vancouver has a pretty big film industry, so really tapping into the film and the effects industry and tapping into that area of expertise to just kind of try to do things as efficiently as possible.
So you've mentioned like experience in the past and also kind of how rich Vancouver is. How much does that come in handy when you're working on the game?
Oh, it's been extremely beneficial. Vancouver, is home to a lot of AAA studios. A large portion of us work together at Rockstar and United Front Games, and we also have people who have worked at the Coalition and EA. As well as some smaller independent studios as well. And in addition to that, having the film industry here where we can utilize local talent. We're working with union actors. We're scanning actors as well that we're using for our characters, and we're actually currently auditioning a couple remaining characters for the game, and as well as doing the finishing touches on our new motion capture studio. So we're going to be doing a full cinematics push over the coming months. That's a really exciting place to be right now.
Awesome. Sounds great. In terms of exciting things, when it comes to this game, what are you most proud of at the minute where you are? I
think the thing I'm the most proud of is just what a small focused team can do when they're all sharing the same goal and vision. We, like as I said earlier, we come from different backgrounds, but everyone's managed to come together and really deliver an amazing amount of work for the team size we have. And it's really exciting to be working on a smaller team again, and just having that kind of energy where you're working with everyone on the team day to day. Yeah,
I imagine that is a lot different to probably what some of you are used to coming from those massive studios. So finally, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch and also, being featured on their brand new label?
It's truly an exciting place to be. We've been kind of pushing our game as far as we could, and this partnership is really helping to provide more reach and more resources, but I think most importantly, also just having a partnership on getting feedback and helping to really expand and push the vision of the game. We've already received a lot of feedback on the title, and being a small team, we're often in our own little echo chamber. And even in a short period of time, we've been able to act on a lot of the feedback, and the game has improved considerably since then.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time. It's been awesome to talk to you and find out a little bit more
She's
about
trying to
what
make
you
it
guys are
sound
going to
so
be offering
exciting,
for the
and
new
he's just...
label. And I can't wait to let gamers finally get their hands on the content. So thank you for your time.
From psychedelic horrors to internet rumors, our next developer created the huge open world of Bohemia and took us on an adventure through the Holy Roman Empire. However, there have been some leaks that this action RPG may have a home on the Switch. Opal sat down with Warhorse Studios to try and get to the bottom of this.
Kingdom Come Deliverance on the Switch. That is quite some
Now, that came out a couple of years ago.
Yes, that's true. Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And as you said, it's about gamers, devs, and games. In our case, or in this case, actually gamers play an integral part in the story.
What do you mean?
Well, some kind of confusion happened in the end of last year. We Warhorse Studios were preparing the release of the Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition on PlayStation and Xbox, but someone most likely ticked the wrong box in Japan, and it looked like it's going to be released on Switch as well. Of course, by that time, there was nothing existing like that. We were not even thinking about the possibility that Kingdom Come Deliverance could go on the Switch. However, Nintendo Japan took this information, some Japanese media, and then the snowball started rolling. All of a sudden, it was the talk of the day. Kingdom Come Deliverance is releasing on the Switch. But as I said, nothing like that was planned at all, and we didn't even think about that. Now, a few months back, and we think it was still somehow cursing around in the Nintendo database, Nintendo of Spain posted a picture on Twitter where they had different pictures of open world games, and they were promoting already existing open world games on the Nintendo store. And if you clicked on the picture, actually there was nothing like Kingdom Come Deliverance. Of course not, because as I said, nothing like that is existing. However, again, it created confusion. People were talking about it again, like, okay, so is it coming? Is it not coming? But for us, actually, and as I said, we didn't think about that until that time. For us, we started to think. There's a lot of interest.
That game's supposed to be super hard.
People are actually talking about us, reaching out to us. Like, they seem to want Kingdom Come Deliverance on the Nintendo Switch. So we started to think. And since we are already in the Koch Media family, or the Embracer family, and there's a lot of talented studios, so is Saber Interactive. And who but them would be actually capable of bringing the Kingdom Come Deliverance version on the Switch? So we sat together, and now we are here talking about the Nintendo Switch version on Kingdom Come.
So what you're saying is that a community of gamers made this happen?
More or less, yes. The community feedback we got, of course, was a big drive for this entire project. But this comes from our general background.
Oh, so God damn it, we've got to make this thing now.
We had in the day. So without the community, there wouldn't be any Warhorse Studios or any Kingdom Come Deliverance. So we always try to be very close to them and working together with them, and even coming up with crazy ideas together with them. So, for instance, the Savior Schnapps, our own liquor we created later, was actually a community idea. We have our own beer brand. We recently released a blue brick set, like a building set for Kingdom Come Deliverance buildings. And now one of the latest projects is the Kingdom Come Deliverance soap bar, which should give you the real medieval smell. In that case, I must say medieval smells actually pretty well. And we are coming up with crazy stuff like that all the time. Our next new merchandise project is a Farkle boxed board game, kind of. So Farkle, for those who don't know, that's like this Kingdom Come Deliverance mini game, a dice mini game you can play in the game. And now with Griffin, to be honest,
you haven't missed much. This is not so far not been that interesting. I'm not going to lie.
Farkle at home against your friends or against your family or whatever. So that's pretty cool if you ask me. But generally, if you're interested in these kind of stuff, just check.
Tunes, is it me, or are they determined not to show any game footage whatsoever so far?
My favorite. soapy hot news. Speaking of soapy hot news, how do you feel about Warhorse being under the new label Prime Matter?
Oh, you messed up your shoulder.
We were working together with Koch for over 4 years already. In 2019, we then even became part of the entire Embracer family. So that was a big thing. And now being able to take part at the beginning of
mate,
new,
you and me both.
Be there when there's a new label being created. That is a
news,
big thing
mate,
for us.
News,
and especially
news,
if you consider
NEWS.
that we come there as an established partner already. That is really cool, and we are looking forward to.
I'm with you, Tunes. This is ridiculous.
Future.
Thank you very much, Toby. We cannot see what Warhorse has
Last night was great. I really enjoyed last night.
Until that time,
this
Toby,
is just like
goodbye.
So are we. Thank you very much, and see you.
From internet rumors back to reality, we will have more on Kingdom Come Deliverance for Switch.
So they can't even show any stuff from that.
All right, let's move from RPGs to FPS games. Final Form, which is a working title, is an action-packed sci-fi adventure where you play the role of a humanoid avatar of a sentient spaceship sent on a mission to the edge of the known universe to battle an unstoppable plague. The game is still a long ways from completion, but here's a very quick peek at what's in store.
Oh, finally! I was going to say I'd rather get my face with a cheese grater and grate the face. Finally, we get some gameplay. About friggin' time. It's like some weird shooter, throw a football thing.
Hi, we are Raycon Games, and what you have just seen is the first glimpse of our upcoming game called named Final Form.
Final Form is an action-packed, epic sci-fi FPS in which you are a female-formed humanoid machine on a space mission with no return.
Okay. At the heart of the game is a mystery and alien wars to explore, but also an adrenaline-fueled combat. In Final Form, it's all about the freedom and power of movement, being a machine unrestrained by human weaknesses. There are numerous abilities and gadgets that come with your robotic body, so you can give yourself away to the fantasy of becoming
bits in your body fly off,
goddess, blazing away in a spectacular ballet of destruction.
That's an interesting mechanic, I'm not going to lie.
Raycon is located in Warsaw, Poland, with additional team members located all over the world. The studio was founded and is managed entirely by game developers. Since the success of Ruiner, we've grown quite substantially. Currently, Raycon is over 50 brilliant game creators, and counting. We are not a huge team, but what we love to do is to evolve together with our projects, constantly finding smarter and better ways to achieve something.
Pull it out your socket, or what did you do? Or
we build our work environment.
What happened?
Just like we make games, aiming for the best results and personal fulfillment.
Oh, by the way, Mystic,
we
sending that game to your sisters. Tunes is sending it out on Monday.
Before we can pour
just so
all of that love into a game. The partnership with Koch Media has been very fruitful and
so let me know if any details have changed, otherwise I'll use that address you sent me.
Guard of the upcoming new label. We're looking forward to share more on Final Form in the future. And in the meantime, please enjoy the rest of the show and see you around.
Well, all I'm going to say to you two guys is thank you for actually showing us some gameplay.
I have to say, guys, I love the soundtrack from Final Form. Moving on to our next game, which is just as special. What if you took Lovecraftian and Gygax themes and mixed it all together with hardcore RPG elements? That's exactly what Massive Works Studios are doing.
Ouch.
I got to sit down with their
Did you land on your arm,
to
then?
talk about their game, Dolmen.
Here we go, Tunes, more trailers. This is what we want. Oh, you landed on the bench. Ouchie. Ouchie, 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 ouchie. Okay, this is a bit freaky. Taking that much out of Sucker Punch much.
Let's speak now to Gabriel Ferreira, CTO of Massive Works Studios, who joins us now from Campinas near Sao Paulo in the southeast of Brazil. So, Gabriel, what is Dolmen about?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here and to participate. Well, so let me tell a little bit about what Dolmen is.
That guy has the most blandest office in the world.
That kind of a game where the hero needs to save everyone from an alien threat. Fighting with all kinds of monsters and struggling to keep going forward. Yeah, that's the kind of game that Dolmen is not about. In this game, you actually save the drillers, which is the alien species that live on that planet, but you're going there to help a company save its investment. So you're not really the nice guy that's trying to save everyone. It's just a job. But we hope that the players consider the humanity, the greed, the war, and the spares and the challenges that come to mind along with that job. Taking all that part, and yes, Dolmen is also about fighting all kinds of monsters and struggling. After all, it is a hard game. It's a hardcore game. It's inspired on Souls-like, so yes, you're going to die a lot.
Awesome, thank you. So when thinking about the name Dolmen, obviously you guys went for that for like a very specific reason. What's the thinking behind the name? Why did you go for Dolmen?
So there was many things that came to our mind when describing the name of the game. Dolmen, which means a single chamber.
It's supposed to be live, but it's very clear it's all been pre-recorded. Wasn't like last night's one where they did it live.
Be a good word to describe this stone,
because you can see all the cuts when she's talking.
We have that is related to that.
And I get the feeling she's actually interviewed half these people.
That deals with
someone else
crystal in the game is close to bringing problems to everyone.
So it's live, but it's not live.
We wanted this to be the main piece of the game.
Cool. Awesome. And now I know that people may or may not have heard of Dolmen before, so it is already out there in the world. But how long has it taken to get to this point?
Oh, it's been a long journey since the beginning of the project. We started at late 2016, so it's been almost 5 years now, and probably just a bit more to come out. But we and about our journey, if it wasn't the support that we had since the beginning, either our community, the Kickstarters, and you guys, I believe we would not be here right now.
Lovely. How have you been inspired by other games? You mentioned like the Souls-like obviously inspires it. You know, are there other games that inspire you? And also, what games do the teams like?
First of all, regarding inspirations, a lot of games came to us when we were producing the game and when we were first thinking of it. Obviously, we are really passionate and we really love Souls-like games.
I know Ancient Shadows wants to get into that as well.
Dark Souls, those games were our main inspirations.
So.
We drew inspirations from all different kind of sources. So we had inspirations in Dead Space, in Mass Effect.
See, that's how interested I am.
And also not only inspirations in other games, but also inspirations in movies and Lovecraftian stories. For example, Alien and Geiger, and those were our main inspirations. About games that we most like and games that our team likes, it's really hard to say because we have a team that ranges from liking Dota to CS and Souls-like games. But what I can really tell you is that every one of our team is passionate about the project because they love doing what they do, which is a hardcore game.
Yeah, and that makes sense as well when you get hands on Dolmen, all these inspirations that have come in.
Thinking something
so
educational,
the game is set in a sci-fi universe.
Thing,
is there any specific reason you decided to go down that route?
That'd be cool. There's quite a few people that do stuff like that.
First?
When I go to EGX Res, which is the independent game show,
the humans are
quite a
afraid
few,
of
not like what your concept is, but quite a few people that deliberately make games for mental health and stuff, and I think that's really cool.
That we can explore in
you should do it.
So that sci-fi setting.
I mean, that show's not happening this year now; it got cancelled, but
was something.
It'd be good to go check it out because you can see what other people are doing and how they get started. You can actually talk to the developers. It's really cool.
Could come with. So we wanted to use the sci-fi as a tool to reach this goal, to present the player a world of unknown that he can fear and he can enjoy it.
No, absolutely. And while we're kind of on the point of humans and Earth, you guys are based in Brazil, which is awesome. Are there any specific challenges that you face during development because of that, or just in general?
Yeah, there were a lot of challenges that we faced along this 5-year journey. We obviously had to adapt our workflow in these late years. So 2020 and 2021 was a really challenge for us. But it was something that we could adapt well, especially because even that we're based in Brazil, we're not only based in a single location in Brazil. We have people spread across the country. So it was easy enough to overcome that challenge. But there were several challenges.
Probably is, Mystic.
Getting the.
Do you know what? I was quite surprised how good the Wi-Fi was. At McDonald's, I actually... I think last year I drove outside while I was sat in their car park.
Us to deliver this amazing game
because you couldn't.
That's what we.
I was sat watching stuff on my phone in their car park, and I was quite a distance away. I was like, "This is good." This
appreciates the most and really gives value is the people that we work with. They were really incredible people, and they were really rare over here.
Absolutely, that's really cool. Kind of on that theme of development and challenges, given how development and technology often dictates how a game evolves throughout its development, how kind of close are you to the original concept that you guys came up for Dolmen?
Well, there are different point of views on that answer, especially because we started really small. In the journey of the game, for example, it started as a concept from a few friends that get together and they brainstormed it for months. The game subverted in 2 senses, and one of them, when we first thought of the game is huge and
no, we're going to do Outriders after this, hopefully about 10 o'clock tonight.
It has
so we'll be doing a game stream.
Universe around it, so a lot of it has been built. So people that loves lore and loves the universe that
I'll tell you what, it could definitely be your bedtime story, isn't it? It sends you to sleep.
On that side, but the game from its original concept evolved a lot, especially now that we have more tools at our disposal. So on the tech side, it advanced way better than we imagined. Back 2016, we didn't have all the resources that we have now. So of course, we made some sacrifices here and there, and in order to achieve our goal, but we were never happy with satisfied at that point of satisfaction. You know, we want to reach more. At the end of the day, this is also a game, and we are having fun.
It is, Mystic. Seriously, and Tunes. Tunes was just
brilliant game for the player.
Absolutely. And speaking about like making the game and the development of the game, seeing as you are lead programmer as well, what was the hardest part of making the actual game?
I believe that we could have
it's
gone
so bad,
to,
isn't it?
different options. Especially, for example, we could have wanted to make it a game that was simpler or smaller or not have that many hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
But we decided to go to a hardcore game, even that
Just sitting there chugging away to get through it. Like,
so we decided to go full in into that challenge. We faced a lot of challenges.
I'm not,
as I mentioned previously.
Like, considering this is the first
the hardest
proper
part of the game was
E3
finding the correct
obviously we had the opening night, but
professionals.
this is dull as dishwater. Don't get me
focusing
wrong.
on what we were doing, and keeping
They said they've got 12 games to
posted
announce
for 5 years on a single game.
Christ,
The
game before this, they had the right idea,
right
short, sharp, 2-3
so
minutes,
it
talk
was
about it, show some footage,
decision,
move on.
But
This is just dragging on, man.
we wanted to make that. Regarding programming, and as a programmer, there's a lot of that I could talk.
Do you know what? I'm going to see what. Let's have a look what the chat saying
is
on
always
YouTube.
Challenging, but finding that
there's like 9,000 people watching this.
So the game that is not
people going
unfair,
blah blah blah
but
blah
it is,
blah blah.
It is hard. So we wanted to aim hardcore players.
Loads of people just going.
Really something that was hard.
So you mentioned
like next
5 years of development, which is a crazy long time. How have you kept yourself motivated?
Mate, for a
how
game
have
launch
the team
itself,
kept
loads of people,
loads
of people going blah 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 in the chat, man. I don't know if you guys can see this alongside here. This is hilarious.
Most of all, we were always having
people got snooze
meetings in order to play the game. Even now that we are remote, we keep getting
what's
up
that other emo people are using?
Making a meeting and showcasing
this better be free to play. Oh my god, stop talking, someone posted.
Of us. Also,
couldn't you have just shown the gameplay or trailers? Blah 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 again.
COVID was the events. The events always made us super happy.
Who are these people?
Showcasing the game to everyone and getting the players to play the game and see how they react. It was something incredible. A lot of people it really made us feel proud of what we were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like everyone's missing that event feeling, right? When you actually get to see people on the games and you're like, oh, wow,
someone went,
everyone's
loving
our
make
games.
a cup of tea.
I think it's something that everyone is
still
missing,
that effing
definitely.
interview.
Speaking of kind of motivation and happy times, what are you most proud of this game? What have you guys worked on that you're like, yeah, we did that?
I believe that the universe that we created is
some people are having to go back saying, dude, what were you expecting, blah blah blah.
For example,
and it was like, well,
made
expecting
some comics for it,
trailers, discussion.
We have a lot of story,
it's like
some crazy
the guy, the guys before.
So we're really proud of the
this
universe.
Is like the fourth game they're talking about. The first two, there was no footage whatsoever. It was just a conversation. But even that was only 5 minutes long.
What we did,
the guys before showed a bit of footage,
and now that
talked about what the game was, what you can expect. Boom, done. 5 minutes.
Getting to
that's how it should
expand that universe and getting to get closer to our original.
Loads of people getting the blah blah blah.
We meant for it.
I like that email.
That is something that makes us really happy.
Cool. Awesome. Speaking of partnership with us, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch on their brand new label?
Everyone should say, really, show us Payday free. Show us
really
Payday free.
An amazing feeling for us. Koch really helped us and takes care of the operation that we
loads
couldn't
of people asking for Payday free
for ourselves. They have an amazing
I think someone did put
QA,
SOS
localization so we can reach different countries and players everywhere.
What's with the avocado?
We have a
I don't know what that is. A couple of people putting avocados in.
Helping us reach our goals and really deliver the game that we want. And without Koch opened the doors for us on that sense. And being part of this new label is a great opportunity for us, and also to other game developers and expand the game community, and to meet you as well. We really thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. We are so happy to have you guys on board. And more importantly, I am so excited to actually let people play this game at some point under this new label. So thank you so much for your time, Gabrielle.
Oh
it's been
my
awesome
God, thank
talking
God.
to you. And
let's go back to full screen.
Let's
coming up, King's Bounty 2
at some point under the new label. Thank you for your time and see you later.
Chat's more fun than the interview. I know.
See ya.
We'll move on to the next thing, and then I'll.
Now, the first title from Prime Matter will be the beautiful, highly anticipated King's Bounty 2. We have a first look at the gameplay trailer, and then Opal got a chance to sit down and talk with CEO Nikolai.
It's another 15-minute talk. At least we get a trailer.
The balance is off. Our land, Nostria,
finally
dances on the knife's edge of fate.
You think about it, we've only had
King Claudius, my father,
3 trailers in
and his
nearly
absence has set the
45
realm in
minutes.
motion. Something is coming. Now the burden of the crown falls on me.
Crazy.
Nostria was flourishing, but there is unrest.
It used to be beautiful here. My wife and I had a nice life then.
Conspiracy, sabotage, necromancy. They all threaten this land asunder. But we must unite, for distorted terrors are advancing. Rumors tell of a false prophet, putting our hope in something that does not exist. A seer foretells that our savior.
Even Mojo's asleep. Mojo's on the sofa behind me, and he's slept through the whole of this.
You laid faith in my father. Do so to me. We must look towards the horizon, fight back the darkness, and preserve the light of our land. For Nostria!
Comes out August on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Hello there, guys. Thanks for joining me. And I am joined by Nikolai Barinshnikov from 1C Entertainment, who is CEO and creator.
Random question, but
King's
why call him
Bounty
Mojo?
2. So King's Bounty
This is Mojo
in
Jojo
development and has a 30-year pedigree. So what is it that makes King's Bounty 2 so special?
The original King's
From the Powerpuff
Bounty
Girls
was a grandfather of games of series like Heroes of Might and Magic. So it created these turn-based gameplay when we have a hex-based battlefield and the troops are moving in turns.
You never heard of the Powerpuff Girls?
Like chess pieces on the board. So I think that's the key, the cornerstone.
It won't make any sense then.
King's Bounty.
Absolutely, and kind of speaking about that, and I know as you mentioned, the first King's Bounties was 1990, and then you had the King's Bounty that you guys created in the 2000s. What technical improvements now that we're in 2021 are you most excited about implementing into the new King's Bounty 2?
Well, I'm a huge fan of the core aspect of the game with tactical battles. And if in the previous games, the battlefield was always a flat
there's
surface,
a character called
so now
Mojo
we're bringing
Jojo.
the battlefield into 3D. So we will have, line of sights,
That's why.
shields. Like simple example, if your archers are located on the hill, they will do like extra damage for the high ground, etc. So moving the battlefield to 3D is a huge step forward. And then the whole role-playing part, the exploration part, we decided to move more towards games like Fable or Mass Effect, kind of epic, big role-playing games, as opposed to have a top-down isometric view of tiny little character on a horse just galloping around the map. So we are moving towards this kind of epic fantasy adventure. Because this is not,
because when we got Mojo wasn't called Mojo.
The biggest
Mojo was called Norman.
We've done in Moscow so far.
And we didn't like
so
that.
Speaking of the other King's Bounty games, will this
we
King's
changed his name
Bounty
to
2
Mojo,
follow
and he
the
liked
other
Mojo.
stories
He
of the
responded to
games,
Mojo.
or will it be a standalone title?
When he's awake.
No, the game will not follow on any previous games. But even the previous King's Bounty, they all sort of like disconnected. There was like the main protagonist, there were a bunch of like, evil guys. There's like a small quest. And I would say that a previous King's Bounty, it was not like an epic RPG adventure. So the game was more about just random monsters on the map.
And he'd been called that since a puppy. Apparently, he was a bronze winner at Crufts.
Really, a epic adventure.
The owners of him didn't feel that was good enough, so that's why they wanted to give him away. So Lizzie drove all the way up to Leeds to meet him,
much more,
and
towards.
He wasn't even 3 years old then.
However,
and
this is a great combination.
He absolutely fell in love with Lizzie. Went running up to Lizzie. It was like,
Witcher
bought him that day, brought him straight back. And Norman is now his middle name. And he's got my surname. So it's like Mojo Jojo Norman, and then my surname.
Strategy title, which, I wouldn't, it's not like quote unquote.
This is mental. Give him away. But yeah, I know. They felt that wasn't good enough.
For the console.
To me, I'm like, that's amazing.
For me, like a great inspiration was
technically we've got a dog that's won bronze in Crufts, man.
I was a huge fan of XCOM that was released in 1994, 1996.
Very proud of him. I don't know what he did. I'm proud of him. He probably slept.
XCOM. This is something we're trying to achieve with King's Bounty. Really made a modern game that works well on modern platforms, that works well with current
Mojo Jojo Norman MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
So, we're trying to enhance it in every possible direction.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Kind of speaking about the story of King's Bounty 2 and how it differs, it appears to have a darker, more gritty aesthetic compared to its predecessors. What was the design philosophy around that? Why did you decide to
can only be one?
Instead?
Yeah,
that's a interesting question. We've been debating on the design approach. And again, as I said,
was that on their recording? They had someone log in and out on Zoom.
For gameplay and
I never liked Chihuahuas, but Mojo's changed my mind.
Previous games,
because there's 4 types of Chihuahuas.
Cartoonish, fancy.
And Mojo is classed as a
we are now trying to play in different
short hair.
We're trying to make it much bigger.
So he looks different to the other 3 types of Chihuahuas.
We've been astonished by.
I like them because they've all got little characters. They're all quite quirky. And he's very quirky, bless him.
We thought that this is a good idea actually to upgrade King's Bounty to what we call like
when he's
high
not
fantasy
sleeping
or like realistic fantasy. So it's not a dark fantasy like Kingdom Come when they're like
he's been out at work all day. He's been with Lizzie all day.
No, it's more like
Lizzie's gone out
like high fantasy.
Gone out to see some friends because obviously I'm doing this.
It looks like a dragon.
So he's here with me, and then Lizzie will get back, and before I do the Outriders thing, we'll send him in.
That was the main philosophy. Plus, game development evolves.
DJ
I don't
Bobo,
think that it's a good idea to take a game of 2008.
What was that? Remind me of that, man. What was that? What killed Chihuahuas for me is fucking Paris Hilton.
You need, especially for consoles,
using them as a fucking
expectation from somebody
like a handbag. I mean,
digitally or online.
They're a pet. They're not a fucking accessory, man. That pissed me off.
Look graphically and gameplay wise like this is an expectation, and we believe that that's what we had to do.
Yeah, so we've mentioned that this game combines different kind of like ways that you can play the game, basically, from
someone unplugged the USB or injected
to this unique
like an email pop-up,
this kind of chess-like fighting system.
I'll have a look at that, man.
Kind of, why did you choose, with the evolution of game design and how people play games? Why
do you know what? I'm going to go back to the YouTube chat because I'm sure they're already bored.
Game mechanics. Do you think that this is kind of what makes King's Bounty King's
Bounty? They're bored.
Absolutely. I think you got it spot on. So
blah, blah, blah.
King's Bounty is a grandfather of turn-based games. So
shut up and give us more games.
From King's Bounty, then it becomes
that guy has more hair than we've had gameplay.
So we can play around with evolution of this gameplay, more fun or realistic, but obviously this is the core. So this is
because I'm broadcasting this through GameSpot broadcasting this, and someone's just like, GameSpot, if you're reading this, just pull the plug on this now.
Again, gamers who like
someone walks a staffy in a pushchair,
shooting elements,
mate.
like Cyberpunk.
We went to a Chihuahua festival 2 years ago. And they were pushing all the Chihuahuas in pushchairs. And then Lizzie went and bloody bought one.
Kind of this
never
new
fucking
3D world that you're creating when it comes to the fighting style.
We even got a Chihuahua
these
rucksack.
RPG mechanics and making this world
He's got
feel
feet. He'll
more
walk. When he's
alive
tired, I'll
and
carry
more
him.
exciting. What was actually the hardest part of you making the game? What took the longest time? What
Game 2
kind
Electric
of
Boogaloo.
caused you the most headaches?
Hard to say. First of all, this
Someone just put, I want to eat soup off his forehead.
So there are specific technical issues that.
I'm not going to say that one because that's horrible about the.
Or just a PlayStation game, then you are not.
People saying the game we want to see is Cyberpunk / Among Us 2077 crossover.
Specifications, TCRs, approvals, so that adds a lot.
We need more Vin Diesel.
The production itself, as soon as we went away from this kind of cartoonish, easy-looking isometric view.
Supposed to be going for an X-ray, but don't want to leave.
And the production of assets. So we
don't ever try to make another event.
Map. We want to populate this map with a lot of characters that will just move around, go somewhere.
This chat is funny in the stream. I agree.
And we
chat is funny in the stream.
Instead of having like text dialogues, we decided to produce a lot.
There's like nearly over 7,500 people watching this, which is hilarious.
Push the story to explain what's going on. So we even had to buy our motion capture studio. We'll work with like.
Please skip. Please move on.
And there are hours and hours and hours of.
I like that. Even their chat eyes about chat funny. Yeah, I know.
Which in the past would be just dialogues and pieces of text. That was another huge complication.
No, absolutely. And then the final question.
Oh,
what
God.
are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch and being on their brand new gaming
Nobody
label?
cares.
Oh, that provides us a lot of additional support.
Someone's asked if they let people like cheeseburgers.
Because, I'm not sure that all gamers understand how games get to the market. So making game, writing pieces of code or drawing this.
What's Payday 3 already shown? Because I'll leave otherwise.
Is only half of the puzzle. So it's like,
stop asking questions to Mashes your own.
You need a lot of
Nobody cares. I agree.
From production people, testing, localization, manufacturing retail units. Putting all this units into the retail shops in the world. Making
how can this event end in 5 minutes? They said they were going to talk about 12 games. I think this is the 5th game. Christ.
With Koch Media, that seemed to be the ideal partner. So way on the market.
Bring on Olivia Munn.
And I would say very honestly, I was personally a bit
Someone
scared
called Agent
if we
Smith
just
to shut
ourselves that we might not have the human resources. To deliver the information about the game itself, work with all the platform holders.
Someone's got, God, is it still going on?
A co-production and co-publishing.
The funny thing is, this video has got 916 likes, 680 dislikes.
Awesome. Well,
and the dislikes are going
Thank you
up.
so much for your time, Nikolai, and I cannot wait for people to get their
Scars
hands on
above.
King's Bounty 2.
Oh, me too. Trust me, me too. After 2 years of development, that's going to be one of the most exciting days for me in 2021.
Right, come on.
We have 12 titles.
Yes, you keep saying that.
Saying it. And honestly, I shouldn't have a favorite. It's like picking between a favorite child. However,
See, Mystic, good luck with the
next
X-ray.
speaks to me on a gaming level, unlike any other. This third-person action-adventure shooter will keep you up at night tossing and turning with its horrific, nightmarish creatures. Think Alice in Wonderland meets Alien, or as one US journalist put it, Tomb Standing.
Huh.
Guys, sit back, relax, grab a pillow, because you get a world-exclusive look at Scars Above.
Scars above, okay.
Dr. Ward, Dr. Yoshida, get to the bridge, please.
Finally.
Time to see what's inside our alien guest.
Telemetry check.
Telemetry check. Here go.
Yeah, it does look a bit like Death Stranding,
How is
doesn't
this
it?
possible? What planet is this? How did I end up here? Log entry. The gate has an internal conduction system. The 3 points on the rim seem sensitive. A targeted blast of electricity should cause a reaction.
I can see why it's slightly Tomb Raider-ish as well.
The debris. It's from Hermes. It must have splintered off as it entered the atmosphere.
So far, this is the most interesting thing we've seen.
Mira. It's still intact.
Nice. So it's got that kind of Outriders vibe going with it as well. So Hermes can get a tree on a distant planet but can't deliver my bloody parcel. Jesus Christ. What was it you were waiting for?
Log entry. The creature has multiple salivary glands in its thoracic region that seem to produce a highly venomous secretion.
That's quite cool. Oh, right, okay.
Wow. The whole place is covered with some kind of organic residue.
So,
Looks
I'm
like
guessing
Robinson
you've crashed on a
managed to
planet.
connect MPU to the pillar.
You're crafting stuff. It looks a bit like Outriders, a bit like Tomb Raider, a bit like Death Stranding. This has been the most interesting game they've
This will
shown.
help me get through that tissue webbing. And I'm taking the MPU.
But the game footage said the tree from Hermes. So obviously they can get agriculture on that. Yeah. I get you now. What's good, bro? Been here for a while, just lurking. Or certain things out. You ain't missed much, little panda. This has been the worst showcase so far. This is the most interesting game they've shown so far. We've had two game things where they didn't even show any footage. But this looks good. I quite like the look of this.
Place? Did they build these towering monuments to serve a purpose, or as a testament to their might? Were they
Like a
looking
Space
for
Age
answers
Tomb
or
Raider.
solving a problem?
Woo!
Oh my god!
Yeah, this does look decent. This is called Scars Above. Ooh, big rock monster. So is this Death Stranding but less boring? Potentially, yeah. There was just bits where she was hiking along and stuff, and that reminded me of Death Stranding. But then there was bits where you had to open the box and find the thing, and that reminded me of Tomb Raider. This bit reminds me of like Outriders. But yeah, this game seems cool. I don't know, we'll probably find out when it's due out.
This thing was huge.
You scan the monsters like you did in Jedi Fallen Order as well. It's cool. So it's got all little elements of different little games. I like the fact you use the guns to destroy atmospheric things as well. It's not just about killing monsters. Dog! Oh, acid monsters. Nice. Ooh, that doesn't look friendly.
The appendages are dripping with the fluid that's freezing the water.
They were saying this is supposed to be like a horror, but I'm not really sensing any horror element of it.
Pathways leading to various organs. The duocerebrum seems to be generating an electrical charge.
This bit reminds me of Batman because you're searching the bits and trying to find the bits.
This gland is secreting the cryogenic fluid that's freezing the water.
Down. There you go.
The cocktail digestive.
Yeah, the Ubisoft one.
Dissolving local plant life into
That's what kicks off tomorrow.
The process seems
This is the only one today. Thank Christ. Tomorrow, Ubisoft kicks everything off. No, it doesn't. I've lied. It's the indie game show again. The second part of the indie game show. Ubisoft's at 8 o'clock, I think, UK time. There's quite a few showcases. About six showcases tomorrow. Starting from 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to try and get most of them done. Wow, he's angry. Saturday Ubisoft, Sunday is Xbox and Bethesda.
That really was something.
I
And
like
last
that.
week, Opal had a chance to talk to the developers, Mad Head Games, and ask them what their game was all about.
Hello there, guys. Joining me now from Novi Sad in Serbia is Ivan Zorkic, game director at Mad Head Games, who's going to tell us all about his new project. So, Ivan, what's Scars Above all about?
Hey there. Scars Above, an alien object appears near Earth, and a team of astronauts is sent to explore it, to do a close-range scan. However, for some reason that I don't want to go into now, this results in them in an event which causes them to be transported to an unknown alien planet. So our protagonist, Kate Ward, who is a mission specialist, she's an astrobiologist with a background in engineering. She's one of the members of the team of astronauts, of the team called SCAR team, which is Sentient Contact Assessment and Response. So she is on the ship doing the scan, and she ends up on this stranded on this alien planet. So one moment she's with her team in the ship, and the other moment she's on this strange planet alone. So she explores. She finds out that her team is also stranded on the planet. She has to find them first. And it seems that some time has passed.
Why does he look like bootleg Steve Jobs?
And also, the planet is very hostile. So there's a bunch of dangerous
Let's see what the chat's saying while they're talking. I keep showing the YouTube chat because
and everything seems
funny. The YouTube
want
chat
to kill her and the rest of her crew. So she needs to
people still moaning that they haven't
what's
seen
going on,
Payday
solve
3
this
yet.
mystery. How did they end up here? What does this planet want from them? And the story unravels.
Someone says,
she
"Can we
actually
show
learns
Saints
about
Row
the
5?"
place
They're
and
not going to
learns
show
about
Saints Row 5.
the mystery behind it.
They already said what the 12 games
but
are.
it's
that
all
they're gonna
about
talk about.
being stranded on this kind of scary, but also in a way strangely beautiful world, and facing a lot
Someone's
of
saying, "What's the name of this game?"
creatures and monsters.
And no one's answering them.
So it's like kind of keeping on that theme of the realm of possibility and whatnot. How much in the game
Scars
has
Above
its roots in the real world, and how much is just plain crazy sci-fi?
Well, it's mostly sci-fi, but the themes come from the real world. So they're inspired by the real world. I think the best stories come from the real world, even if they're about, as I said, dragons or fairy tales, and of course spaceships and space exploration. Like there's always this component. So on one level, Scars Above is about reason versus terror. And this is a very important topic to me. And that's a very real world topic for me. Like in our world, a lot of bad things come out of fear. And this fear, gives birth to some unreasonably dark actions, which lead to more bad things and more fear and more bad things. And in a way, Scars Above is
where's that person been? Someone's
for
just
me
put
a metaphor
Kingdom Come
for
Deliverance.
Reason standing up against
They
terror.
just talked about that for like
science against
40
darkness,
minutes. I'm like,
knowledge
where were
against
you?
ignorance.
Where were you?
So apart from kind of staying within
Tic-tac
sci-fi,
heads, I
and
know.
obviously that kind of opening up the possibility
Booba.
that this
Everyone
could
keeps
actually
putting
happen
Booba.
makes sci-fi what it is. Is there
Everyone
any
keeps
other
typing Among Us in the
important
chat.
things
Like,
to you
why
to
they
keep,
don't make Among
that
Us?
sense of realism
The fuck?
still there in the game?
So there is yes, there is a reason to keep realism, but I think the better word is
more
to make
games,
it believable.
Talk.
So
Someone's
if you go for absolute realism, you're kind of limited on what you can tell, the story you can tell. It kind of is like there is fiction element to the sci-fi, right? But we want to make it believable, and the reason why this is important is because I would like to create this what if vibe. I would like it if people actually ask themselves, like, what if this really happened? What would I do if I were suddenly stranded somewhere on this strange, far away from home world, surrounded with
people like, please stop
monsters
talking
and terrors. Like, if you make this believable, people might actually think more about it. So we don't want to go like super realistic.
When's Payday 3?
But we do want to make it believable, so that because immersion is really important, so that people get immersed in this world and start thinking like, what would I do if I was in this situation? And what if this was really like, what if this happens someday? What if an alien object does appear near Earth someday, and what would happen?
Absolutely. And then you mentioned the lead protagonist, Kate Ward. You told about her job title. What else about her? Who is she? Why is she?
Kate is awesome. We love her. So Kate is a very strong and very capable, but also a very caring person.
It's now got 791 dislikes. It's catching up with the likes.
A team member, a colleague, an explorer, and she always has like this childlike scientific curiosity. But one thing she is not, and that's
Koch
a
Media,
warrior,
what
like
were
a
you
trained
thinking with this
warrior.
showcase?
She's not a soldier, so she's not like a space commando or anything. And and she does end up in a situation where like she needs to fight for her life.
I'm all good, thanks, James.
That's a theme that's kind of like really interesting to us. Because the fact that she's not a trained combatant doesn't mean she's not capable. So she has like a strong will, a sharp mind, and she's very brave.
The name of the
tough.
ship
But
was
like,
Billy of Tea.
she's under tremendous stress in our game, and we want to show how vulnerable she is, how scared she is, how distressed. Because true courage doesn't it doesn't come out of lack of fear. It comes in face of fear. So we do want to show this fear, and it's actually like this. The fact that she's overcoming this, like fighting her emotions, fighting all the stress, that makes her courageous. And
I didn't see that one.
So she gets frightened,
a usual,
she fights her emotions. She's susceptible to panic.
Do you want to be famous?
I think kind of makes her relatable. Like,
I don't know why I did that in a really bad
bad
Australian accent.
I'm all out of gum. I'm kicking ass and chewing bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. That's that's not her. She is like
concentrating on the YouTube chat,
pounds, not her voice breaks. She trembles.
The Twitch chat is funny.
But then
cheers, dude. Thanks for doing that.
That's what I really like. Like when her voice breaks, when she's like really scared.
Yeah, they didn't wait for you to make a cup of this, so they was just like, we're just going to go for it.
Adrenaline kicks in, and she pushes through, no matter the obstacle. And she does it using her mind, and using science and using her cunning to, craft these weapons and gadgets and survive against the odds.
Awesome. So you mentioned that, Kate's a team player and that Scar gets sent up. Who else is in the team? Who else are we going to be meeting on this adventure?
So she's a part of a 4-person team.
Oh my God, they're up to 800 dislikes.
The commander of the mission, Commander Robinson, Richard Robinson, and he's like
yeah, I know. Again, they're going on way too long.
Military background, like a pilot and an officer, and like he is the commander.
Someone's just put, shut up.
The rest of the team are mission specialists, because and this is also kind of like the idea that it's this alien object appears, we send scientists and explorers trying to figure out what's going on. So Kate is joined by her close friend Tamara, who is
some famous twat trying to get you to buy followers.
Also like a scientist and an astronaut. And
fuck off, you absolute arse. Stupid, honestly. Really annoying with people who do that crap. Get the followers the right way and piss off coming into stream shot the cell bots. I know.
They're all scientists.
We noticed we've had a couple of
bots.
Discord noticed we've had a couple of bots sitting watching our channel.
Part of the game is actually uncovering the fate
recently, and he's been going through
other team members and
right. this Twitch account has got like 500 something followers, and they don't stream.
Cares a
and then in the description, it says that it's a follow bot account.
Teammates and her friends.
So we just delete them.
Speaking of best feelings,
it's really weird. Like they don't post that they're watching our chat. It's almost like they're trying to see which channels they can infiltrate.
Very true answer.
So he's been going through and deleting them. It's mad.
So, like, making a game is a huge effort, and it requires a lot of hard work,
I agree, mate.
Energy, dedication.
Mate, I mean, I nearly
also,
did 50 followers in
support. So
it was just
like
over a week. It was 9 days.
People working together,
which is cool, man. I'm
goal,
well chuffed with that.
That's really inspiring. And I
getting
think
50 followers in like 9 days is insane.
When you ask them like what you're more proud of,
but at least that came from people that genuinely watching and interacting.
Like one
I ain't gonna pay for followers.
I may actually
forget paying for followers get you nothing. It just means you've got a bigger number of followers. That ain't gonna watch you.
That's awesome.
Bullshit.
And then last question. What are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like
I know, mate.
and being on their brand
over the moon with that.
Publishing label?
Smash me followers goal, smash the subs goal. I can't even keep track of the sub goal now. Sub goal's gone out the bloody window. We had over
this is a
50
game,
monthly subs, and
with many firsts.
I think we're over 70 or something
having
stupid. I've
someone
lost
to
the plot.
just like share thoughts.
It's a bit like what Brad says. Facebook likes don't pay the mortgages. Exactly.
But, on a personal level, I have
He's
to
right.
say this, and I'm being perfectly honest. Like, the biggest benefit for me was
subs,
meeting a bunch of great people
ad revenue,
on your side. And I truly mean this. Like
people buy my merch.
It's
that
a continuing pleasure to work with you.
And for that, I'm very grateful for.
Not just talking about the game or how we can make it better, but
just
like we
trust
talk
me,
a
when
lot,
this quiz show takes off, there'll be more people following us.
We chat about various things.
Probably will
just
be.
Meeting you guys.
We still need to
it's
talk how we're going to
boost
run it,
what
but
we're
we'll
doing.
get the weekend out of the way, and then we'll talk about it.
I don't want to downplay like
I want to see if
the
we're going
obvious
to
benefits because
host
there's
it on
a lot
your
of them,
Twitch channel,
like,
and then I
the infrastructure,
host it,
the resources,
or whether I host it on my channel.
For me personally, it's
and then you
just
host it. If that makes sense, we'll figure it out. Like one of us will have to be the main.
That's really
hub that we run it from.
Absolutely, and it's a pleasure to hang out with you as well, Ivan.
Because I don't think I can broadcast to them both simultaneously.
I can't wait to let people play Sky
I might try actually,
because I know that we
no,
have so much fun with it in the office.
No, I can only broadcast to one
thank
thing
you
at a
very
time.
much. And yeah, we can't wait to see more.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, next game. Come on, move on.
I'm
Here we go.
really excited about it. And
yes, we do.
For this.
Discord voice chat on Monday.
Now
yes,
something
mate.
completely
I'll let you know
different.
what time.
Brian Fargo himself, the
later.
granddaddy of top-down isometric RPGs, says he is excited about a game. That's got to mean Prime Matter is getting something right. Encased is an isometric dystopian sci-fi RPG scheduled for release this autumn. And this new trailer, which we're unveiling today, will give you a pretty good flavor.
If it helps, I've run a load of quiz nights over Zoom during lockdown, so if you need it.
It's 1976.
Nice.
And the future has arrived.
That'd be cool, tunes.
But here's the skinny.
How many rounds we got at the moment, little panda?
Cronus was formed after a dome-like structure was discovered 5 years ago. Was it from our ancient past? Was it made by aliens? Does it run on perfectly harmless nuclear power? We need to know, and humanity is waiting for you to help unlock its secrets. Descend into the dome itself and join one of our incredible research teams.
Reminds me of the original Fallout
question
games.
is, which wing of Cronus is the best fit for you? If you like taking orders, cracking heads, ultra-violence, and guns,
There you go, little panda,
lots
cracking
of
heads.
guns, then
That's
the
up your
Black
street.
Wing is for you. Can you build and repair incredible technology, but not expect any credit for it? You sound like an engineer to us. Welcome to the Blue Wing.
Good. This is quite a funny trailer.
Are you a doctor, scientist, mathematician, or any other type of brainiac? We've got you
4
covered
rounds with 10
in the White
questions in
Wing.
each round.
Do you like taking credit for the hard work of others, but never do anything yourself?
So what rounds have we got,
Those
Dave?
forms won't
What rounds
fill
have we got?
themselves. That's management, mister.
So I'm wondering if we
And
need
the
2 more
silver
rounds.
wing awaits.
I wonder if we need 6
Are you
rounds.
a criminal, prisoner, or have no discernible skills whatsoever? Then you're coming to the Orange Wing, like it or not. Are you ready for adventure? Are you ready to make the change with us? Are you ready to love it so much that you'll never want to leave? Then join Cronus and take the second giant leap for mankind under the dome.
Under the dome.
That's not all. Opal got to sit down with the creative brains behind Encased.
They used to do 6 rounds, and after every 2 rounds,
let's go to St. Petersburg in Russia.
I think 6 rounds would be good.
Vyacheslav Kosahin, creative director of Dark Crystal Games, and the brains behind their upcoming isometric RPG Encased. So,
general gaming round, okay, music round, picture round,
so
true or false round.
Is an old school RPG in the sci-fi post-apocalyptic
I think I've got ideas for another 2 rounds, mate.
Awesome. So the name Encased is kind of, it's a word and it has various meanings. What's the thinking behind the name?
The thinking behind the name comes from the setting of the game, from one main entity of it, which is the dome. The game takes place in the anomalous zone called the dome, which was found somewhere in the last unknown desert on the Earth and on our planet. And well, basically people who get in there, various
do like a 10-minute comfort break or something.
Technicians, soldiers, and adventurers, they can get back.
That's when the people that are taking part in it can talk about
those guys
their channels.
Who explore the
talk
dome
about what games they stream,
there,
why they started streaming.
I think makes some sense in this regard.
Absolutely. Yes. So,
like take a small
I know
bit
that
of the
you guys
picture.
have been developing this game for kind of a long time
I was going to suggest
how long is it actually
a
taking
video
to get
round
to the point where you
where
are
you show
now?
games that are basically
we are
potato
developing
mode.
the game for 3.5 years now. We
basically the
started
graphics are all
late
messed
in
up and I've got to try and guess what game it is.
2017 with some pre-production, but obviously we have thoughts about a project like this for years and years before that. Before they was crystallized in something, something that really exists.
Name a game.
It takes 10 years of
and they have to say
thinking
who the
behind
developer.
This game, this project, and
so if you said
3.5 years of actual production time.
If you said,
to this time,
Watch Dogs Legion.
So considering how long it takes, how do you guys keep yourself
with some easy
so
ones and it gets harder as we go along?
Like particular title,
like you pick some obscure games.
We can't say we have any problems
so
with motivation
on
our own, because for most, if not everyone on the team, this is the dream project that comes to life. So that's fine in this regard. The motivation is always high, but also we are in the early access.
Street Fighter,
and we're
Monster
really
Hunter World,
open with the
Resident
community
Evil,
from the very early stages of the project.
That'd be a good round.
And because of this openness and talks with the community, and we have had a crowdfunding, and now we are in the early access, we have this constant feedback on the project, both positive and sometimes negative.
And 1,000
which
likes.
Obviously keeps us motivated. If we would be on our own for those like 3.5 years, and
someone's been quite nice there. They said this show's been okay, but they really should have cut down the
motivation
interview.
Could decline a little bit, but with those constant talks with the community,
someone said this could have been a 30-minute stream.
Awesome. And then kind of bringing it back to the game, given how
I'll tell you those guys that got the
development
the
and technology
handheld
often
console, man,
is basically
15-minute
how the
stream
game
straight to the
evolves
point.
throughout its
What's it do?
development.
What
How
games can we
close
get
to
out?
the original
What accessories?
concept that
Bang,
you
bang,
came
bang.
up with years and years ago are you now with the game that you have currently?
The overall concept, we managed to keep it alive. We managed to keep it true. It's a very old school CRPG type game, which is inspired by many golden classics of late 90s and early 2000s. And in that regard, all those ideas survived the process, which is really great. Most of the mechanics, abilities, perks, and all those little things which these RPGs are built from, we managed to put it in there too. But obviously, because technology changed and even, time passes, some less important things, I'd say, like maybe graphics or maybe art style beats or maybe some topics and themes, we explore those, transformed and changed during the process, because making games and RPGs particularly, it's an iterative process and takes many iterations to figure out what is the heart, what is the idea you want to bring to the players.
950
so those
dislikes.
Transformed and crystallized during this long development. But the original concept, the very heart of it, it's all in there.
Someone's put, what time's the TED Talk?
Yeah, so speaking about the concept, what's the actual narrative of Encased?
The story of Encased is a story about exploring this anomalous zone, the Dome. The player starts as an employee of this Cronus organization, which is the only organization that controls entire Dome
the chat's trying to get
research
into
and studying.
this so much.
There are 5 departments which are called wings. The player can start in, which affects the game a lot and the story of the game. This is the Black Wing, which are the security and police services. There are White Wing, which are
encased in
scientists
boredom
and medics. There is the Silver Wing, which are the management and ruling wing of the Dome of the Cronus. There are Blue Wing, which are technicians and engineers, and there is this special Orange Wing, which is
someone's having a go saying, hey guy, developers, I need to explain the game. Stop being morons and slagging it off.
To go to the Dome.
But I agree.
Various manual labor.
So you mentioned that the game is set in the early 70s. Not many games have been set in that time period.
Far too long for a
showcase.
showcase.
To pick that specific
They've
time
really
period?
misjudged this.
Well, we think the 70s is the perfect time for like our game, what we are doing.
Someone's just put fancy game of Fortnite.
70s is like the last tick on the timeline of the humanity, while there were some blind spots on the planet. First satellites and first people in space, it's all happened in late 50s and early 60s, right? And 70s is the last
we're at an hour and a half
spot on
now,
the timeline when there are some, when satellites do not have this complete web surrounding the Earth and the planet, and there are some blind
even
spots
if they did the interview
such
and showed
an
some of the footage over
amazing
the top of it,
and dangerous place
cool,
like
man.
Dome can be hidden. And from that place, from that time, the story takes its alternative path. Instead of going further to the space, humanity sort of descends into the Dome to study it and to do those scientific researches and do those miraculous discoveries, basically.
Yeah, so you mentioned that this is kind of like almost a parallel universe. How far did you deviate from what actually happened in the 70s compared to what happens in the game? I guess it's seen, as you said, that it devolves quite a bit.
Yeah, obviously. So the main topic would be obviously that instead of continuing the Cold War, the West and East, if we can call those, they instead start to explore the ideas of
announced Leisure Suit Larry 6. I thought Leisure Suit Larry 6 has already been out.
And forming that
super
corporation Cronus, which is actually the
someone's at the wrong thing. They said, is the Crew 3 going to be announced? Ubisoft do. That's tomorrow.
Controls all the researches and controls
the
space
alien,
of artifacts.
Be right back, bud. Going to go back
myself.
Yes, it's going to be another chicken burger.
From the Dome into the...
I had chicken for dinner, man. I did some grilled chicken.
And yeah, those ideas are quite different from what happened in the
God
real
help me
world,
for starting at 10 o'clock for Outriders.
And kind of bringing it back to the real world almost. Obviously, you guys are based in Russia, and life in the 70s was very different than life was in the West. How much of that do you think translates to an international audience once we get out there? And how much do you think people won't understand because they just, no one kind of really lived over there, or no one really.
How to
knew
ruin
what
your
was
game in
happening
5
over there.
minutes? Keep talking in a
as I
monologue
said,
voice.
I think the game pursues the ideas
back,
of
Mystic. Not waiting for
internationalism
results.
when very different parties across the world
When are they announcing
put
GTA
their
7?
own struggles, political and other struggles aside to humanity become something,
Does feel like we've been here for like 20
something
years.
bigger when it's combined with everyone is united together. To ascend to be something more and to explore the dome, its dangers
really good.
and its
But again,
discoveries.
the
Basically,
interviews are so
Absolutely.
long.
Now bringing it kind of back to
Far
you
too
guys and
long.
the developers again. You mentioned that you were inspired
Tunes,
by
what have you missed?
other games.
Literally nothing.
What games like really truly inspired
We
you?
want
Not
Fallout
just games, but
76
media.
too. I don't
and
think so,
also,
Son of
what
Pal.
do you and the team like as well when it comes to video games?
well, we are here
Yeah, the
all
one decent trailer,
hardcore
and then more
RPG
waffle, you're right.
fans. So it's not
We're not even
secret
talking
why
waffles
we,
with
I
strawberries
suppose,
and
picked up
chocolate
a
and whipped
project
cream.
like
It
this
was
to
just
develop.
waffle.
And it's not a secret that the game
Oh
is
my God.
it's in a very hard way was
usual.
inspired by the Fallout series, well, and
None
the
of the
other
Do
great
you know what? Watching that
RPG
clock
games
tick
of
down
late
for an
90s
hour
and early 2000s,
for
and some
Battlefield
modern
was
ones
more
too, actually.
interesting than this shit.
So speaking about development, what was the hardest part of making the game for you guys?
I think the easier question would be what was the easy part. I can't really come with much things which were easy. It's
Actually
all
insane.
it's an everyday struggle in a way. It's a marathon, but it's a happy marathon, and it's a happy everyday struggle basically for us.
Absolutely. And then moving it into that more positive thing, the happy marathon.
want
What are you
Army of
most
Two.
proud of when it comes to Incast?
Do you know what? The last time you
I'm
two game I
obviously
played, I was
proud
boring
of
as hell.
both the team and the project.
That was the one that had all the
itself,
rappers in it, and I
because,
was like,
both us here in the team and our community, we often forget that 3.5 years ago there was nothing.
I'll be right
there was
back, guys. If I'm
emptiness.
blunt,
Nothing
instruments to brutally
existed.
mutilate myself
And
with, no worries.
here now, 3.5
If you yawned
years
in front of a
later,
deaf person, they'd think you're screaming. That's probably
both
true.
with the team effort and
As I
the
think
feedback
maybe more
which we
interesting
get
this,
from the
I don't know.
community, there is this great universe,
I might
a
get
curious
Mojo to
world
slowly
which
eat
is
my
almost
right arm.
ready to be explored and to be adventured in.
He's still asleep.
Basically.
And then moving on to the last question, what are the benefits
Thank
of signing
Christ.
up with a global publisher like Koch Media and being on their new
You
label?
keep going on with this
So
global
we think that signing
thing.
with a
Look,
partner as
I'm not
Koch
being
Media
funny,
is
just-
really great
Oh, man.
because it not only benefits us as developers,
I get it's your
but
showcase, but you're
such
literally
partnership
just-
also benefits our
They've
community,
got
our
1,000
players.
dislikes now.
We as the
1,000
developers,
dislikes.
we get more time to work on the project and
They had
polish
8,000
it so
people
it will
watching
be
this.
in
It's
the
dropped down to
perfect state,
5,000.
while our players will enjoy more localizations, which will make the
Echoes of the
game
Ends.
more
All right, come on, hurry
accessible
up.
to the wider audience. We'll get the voiceover done, which
Where's Dead
just
Island 2?
make
Yeah, I
the
know,
game
we're not
better
gonna
and
see any of
bring
that,
it
are
on
we?
some other higher level.
Oh,
From
finally.
an isometric dystopian sci-fi RPG to our next title, which is a fresh take on the action-adventure genre. This team, all the way from Iceland, specifically built a mocap studio for this title and has the incredible talent Aldous Hamilton as their lead protagonist. I got to sit down
Aldous
with the
Hamilton,
guys
why does
and
that ring
ask
a
them,
bell?
what is this game all about?
So Echoes of the End is a cinematic, narrative-driven action-adventure game about Rin, a person who has trained all her life to be a warrior in service to a throne and is now searching and finding her own identity as she's cast away from the life she's always known. It's a game we wanted to make all our lives, basically. And for us, what we really wanted to explore was a marriage of a cinematic experience and the narrative, choice-driven storytelling of RPGs.
I'm going to read my
Finding
emails
that
while I'm
bridge
watching
and
this, 'cause I'm-
union is what really inspired us to go and make our own video game.
Exactly, and such a big integral part of the experience is how you as a player choose to interact with the characters around you, the different companions, the the characters that you'll run into when you're going about in the game and trying to solve all the issues that the player will that you'll be facing as a player.
What was the inspiration behind it?
We're at a remarkable point in the game industry where, a relatively small team
Hello, Cher, how you doing?
tackle such an ambitious vision.
Good to see ya.
And it's actually reasonable. And I think we've just recently arrived at that point. There have been some really great games making leaps in the past few years, kind of paving the way for this
showcases
as the tools
E3
and
so
hardware
far,
and software get more accessible and affordable for smaller developers. We kind of, in the early days of Mythgard, we came to realize that a game like this might be possible. And it seemed unreal to us that it might be at the time.
In fact, let me bring up what we've got,
the team and building up the tech and pipelines in-house, we saw that this was, in fact, possible. And it's an absolute dream for everyone at the company to, be privileged enough to work on a game like this and to really shape the game that we all want to make.
Yeah, so kind of sticking on that point of development and how technology often drives the direction of how a game evolves throughout its development. How close to the original concept is the game now?
That's a really good question. So it's rather close. Like I would say we didn't really do any large pivots. We did make some changes, of course, as the vision evolved and as we understood better kind of what the game was going to be and kind of how we scoped it to fit a team that would be able to execute on it. But I think, we were always, from day one that the idea for the game kind of conceptualized, we were looking at the technology that was allow us to make this game, going for really, realistic and stunning visuals, digital doubles for characters, scanned environments, next-gen development engines, next-gen game engines, kind of all those things were in place for us to make the game. I think the primary things that have changed in the making of the game are more in the details of the execution of that, how we structure the story, what kind of game mechanics we want in a game like that, and really what the identity of our game is and how we separate that from other games.
I've never heard of that.
We genuinely have been making this game.
How old is it, man?
Even though it is slightly different.
Yeah.
My work as narrative director has not had to change a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
We've mentioned obviously at the start and throughout what we've spoke about so far that you guys are based in Iceland and everyone knows the picturesque scenery of Iceland. Did you get much inspiration from your homeland in the environment?
Yes, absolutely. Iceland is such a phenomenal place to live in, and it's a beautiful country that's been featured in, many films and video games before us. And the funny thing is that us growing up in Iceland, this is normalcy for us. This is what we've been used to. It isn't until we visit other countries that we realize that the rest of the world isn't a fantasy land.
Oh my God, trees!
Yes. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely inspired by Iceland. And, I was working as a tour guide for the longest time, and a lot of us grew up in the country from different locations. And we pulled from those locations in the game. And even for some of them, we have nearly one-to-one replicas of them, in the game. Mm-hmm. But the game itself isn't based in Iceland, of course. We're just taking inspiration from the more fantasy level vistas and visuals.
Because while all this is true, while we love Iceland and while we'd be fools not to utilize the access we have to Icelandic natural phenomenons to scan and take references.
It's a cult classic.
We don't want to make a game about Vikings.
PC.
Because it's something that's been done a lot, and we really want to make a unique IP that is ours.
Yeah,
and that no one has seen before.
Hey, check you out. You little lightning bolt as well now, dude.
On characters and you
hello, Gray.
The main
How you
character
doing, man?
at the very start. Tell us about
Mate,
her.
this is
Tell
the
us,
worst showcase
what
I've
made
ever
you
watched.
choose her? Why does she exist the way that she exists?
I'll hand that one off to you. I think.
It's always a tricky question to answer.
Let's go back to the. I'll put the YouTube chat on because it's hilarious.
But Rin is, as I say, she is a character, a person trained
This
from birth
this showcase has got more dislikes on YouTube than it has likes.
I was really fascinating in exploring the difference between a person that is, the juxtaposition between purpose
Mystic,
and
my God, I feel so
independence.
tired. Don't know if it's from the scan
And Rin is
or
a
the
character
interview.
burdened by purpose.
Could be both.
Chained to it. She
probably knackered
has
you
been
out
given
mentally,
a purpose, not of her own choosing, not by her own volition, but one that she has inherent to her birth and very existence. Throughout this game in particular, we want to explore the journey of going beyond that purpose and going beyond what role you are born into and seizing the world by the throat, basically. And I would say that she's born with certain powers that make her both a pariah and a uniquely powerful individual. But with that power come
loads of people keep asking for
certain,
farming simulator.
Superstitions.
Do they even make
she's
farming
challenged to
simulator?
overcome. I think that's general enough to avoid spoilers.
Yeah,
Would you like to add to that?
And just to add the layer
People in
to
the chat
that,
going, no one
with the
cares,
main
no one
character,
cares,
she's,
no one cares.
Throughout the game, you're constantly meeting new people. You're setting her in. We start with her familiar setting, her kind of role in society, and her kind of
you kill stuff.
What's expected of her.
Wow,
and
that
we
sounds
break free from that
bizarre.
throughout the game as we meet different characters, and
I'll have to look that
Rin
up. I've never heard of
finds
it.
her own path and purpose, like Magnus spoke on. And I think that's really where the player also steps in and kind of forms those new relationships that Rin forms throughout the game, and really is.
I will be playing some games later, by the way.
And a factor on
once
those.
this ends,
I think
it looks like this is going to be a
what
2-hour
really heightens
conference.
Rin as
Which
a
could have
character
been
in the
cut
game
down to
is
about
the performance by
40
the
minutes.
excellent actress behind her.
Great,
who is
that's
obviously
Isaac.
Emma Hamilton.
Oh, so
who is
Grave, you played that
absolutely
as well?
phenomenal at portraying such an
I've
awesome.
never heard of it.
What's the hardest part of game development so far? I know you guys are still in the development, but what's been the most challenging?
The most challenging part of game development.
Mate, it's that one more kind of go
that's
game.
a different
I
answer
get
for
that.
every game.
Yes, I think that's a different answer for every game, and I think it even might be a different answer for every team member, depending on the different perspective that they have. Into
Loads
the
of
game
people are asking when's
I think
payday.
for
The new
us,
payday comes.
it's
They're
been
going to leave that to
vitally
last.
important
You
to find
know
the right
that's going to be the
people
last thing.
and that's a really
It's gonna
difficult
be the
thing to
last
do,
thing.
finding the right people who you believe in and who are that really passionate about making games like this. And we've been lucky enough to find the right people so far.
It's a
and
good
we
game.
have, exceptional.
I'd have to try it, man. I've never heard it until Cher said about it.
This game, and I think while that is, often
just
from the
proves some
outset,
games
it's an
can crush
invisible
your bike,
part
can't
of
they,
game
without you
development,
knowing?
but it's absolutely
It's
essential
crazy.
and extremely difficult.
Yeah, so you kind of mentioned before that
Dislikes outnumber the
Iceland's
likes.
quite small. Does that mean that you guys kind of struggle to find that talent that's out
Only
there?
a tenner.
or
Sweet.
Is it quite rich in terms of game development?
So, as usual, Iceland is excellent per capita. We were the best at everything per capita, and among those in the Nordics, we have the most developers per capita. That's not really a useful metric when you look at the fact that we're only like 300,000 people, basically a small fisher town someplace. But Iceland is completely unique in the way that CCP.
I just got a message from someone
another
saying,
pretty well-known.
you said you were going to send me an email, blah, 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 and I haven't got it.
Game developers
And
here that
my
are not
response is
thriving.
always, have you checked your
We have a
spam?
great educational
Just got a message
infrastructure
back going,
that
problem solved.
pretty much covers all the different fields of game development.
Every
here in Iceland.
time.
So we
Every
have
time.
exceptional talent coming out.
I swear.
And so I think, considering the size, we have great access to talent. And
Tears of
another
Isaac, that's
part
right,
of it is
yeah,
that
that's
we
what
have
Cher said,
a lot
Tears
of
of
Icelanders who got into game development early and moved to other countries and then moved back with a lot of experience helping new
on
teams form.
Xbox, it's
and
Binding
build
of
games here.
Isaac Afterbirth.
So while
Is that
it's
because it was like a
definitely
revamped version?
A challenge
Do you think they
to
like renamed it?
find people in a smaller nation. We're blessed by the fact that we do have exceptional talent here, and we have an educational system that is actively each year graduating.
End all this
new
pain and
students
suffering.
who
Someone's just put in the
know
chat
game
there.
development.
What Haldor is saying is that we're a nation of nerds.
Yes, and like another per capita.
Same on the
is that,
PlayStation. Okay.
I don't know. It's an incredibly high number of people in Iceland who play games at all ages.
Yep.
Like an insane
Binding of Isaac
That's
Afterbirth.
really crazy.
Nice one,
and,
Panda.
We've kind of mentioned what's the most difficult part about game development, but what are you most proud of?
Hey, Joker, how you doing?
That's it's not. It's a difficult question to answer.
Yeah,
'cause
I
there's so
figured
many
you were
things.
back, mate.
I mean, making games is,
I'm back.
it takes
I'm
so
having
many
a
people
conversation
to
with
do
you.
so many things for it to go correctly. And I think what we're most proud of is that so far we seem to be
My
doing
God, people
correct,
just keep spanning when's
with the
farming
great people.
simulator. It's
So
like,
I think
they're
what
not
we're most
showing
proud of
farming
is
simulator,
the
man.
team and the progress that we made with this team.
Yeah,
This
I
talk
think
show
that's a
made me
very
miss
good answer in
E3.
general,
Dude, this
that
is
just
E3.
the talent we've
Just the
collected
worst
around us
part of
and
E3.
the friendships
Lil
that have
Panda's almost
formed
got
so strongly
20k
within this
channel
company.
points.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's
Channel points will be
and
back
is what's
and
going
up
to
active
drive it forward.
when we do
And
Outriders
then,
tonight.
finally, guys,
No, I'm not,
what are
mate.
the
I'm
benefits of
stone
signing
cold
up for a
sober.
global
Bored
publisher like
shitless
Koch
from this
Media and being part of their
showcase.
brand new label?
That's a great question. So obviously we touched on the part that
So,
we're
so far,
kind of stuck
I
in
did the indie
Iceland,
game
so our
show.
outreach is quite limited on an
Which
island
the
in the
second
sea.
part of that is tomorrow.
No, but all jokes aside,
We
the
did
main
the new
benefit is that it's an
handheld
extension
console
of the team, and it's a
feature.
great extension of the team.
We did the Battlefield trailer
we
live.
talk about the things that have been the most difficult. And
We
that's
did
building
the
team,
launch last
and the
night,
things
which
that
was
we're most
excellent.
proud
I
of,
thought launch
which is
last night
again
was great.
the team that we built. And
Not going to
for
lie,
us,
bud, just going to
Koch
say more.
is
Do it.
a fantastic extension
These
to
9
the
p.m.
team.
streams work for me. They start soon as I get off.
Full of great
Nice.
people who are really passionate about
when
games,
this finishes, I'm going to have a
and
half an
they're
hour break,
empowering us
and then I'm
to
going to come back
deliver
with
these
Outriders,
games,
Joker Girl.
worldwide. And I think that is anything a developer and ambitious developer could ask for in a publisher.
And we are absolutely
He just
glad
wishes
to
he was
have you
drunk for
guys.
watching this
Thank
shit,
you
I
so
do.
much for your time.
We
and
should
I
have done
cannot
this as a
wait
drunk
to give
stream.
people more information about Echoes of the End.
From one side of the globe all the way to the other. If you like the game Gothic and hardcore RPGs, The Last Aura Crew is just for you.
All right, let's have a look at
I got to
this.
sit down with 2 of the guys from
No,
Gold Knights
no more
and talk
interviews.
all
Just
about
show the
them
fucking
and their new
trailer.
game.
Hello there, guys. Today I am joined
Oh,
by
for
Gold
fuck's
Knight's
sake.
creative and game director Pavel Shrnad and executive producer Vladimir Gershel to talk about
Got
their
my
game,
Alien
The
Nation
Last
jab of
Aura
the
Crew.
day.
Hi, Opal. Hi, Opal.
Felt
Do you
like
guys make
I
The
had
Last
been
Aura
at the
Crew?
gym. That's exactly
What is
what I
the
had,
game
dude.
about?
It's an action
It's
RPG
exactly
where
what I
I try
had.
to show the relativity of good and evil.
Right, so
from
Joker
different
Girl, this is
perspectives
supposed
of
to be
living and breathing
Koch Prime Time.
So
They
when you guys
look
say
after
living and breathing,
people like Deep
what do you
Silver,
mean
Saber
exactly?
Interactive.
It is
They
important to
announced
understand
12
that
games
the
they were
Last
going
Aura
to
Crew is
show.
quite challenging
We've
and
literally only
skill-based
had 3
RPG, but
trailers
compared to many other
in
titles
like
in
an
this
hour
genre,
and 40 minutes.
our story does not take
It
place
just
in
fucking
some
goes
dark
on
and deadly
and on.
realm.
There's been no
Waking up
trailers,
in a
man,
living
except
and
one game.
breathing
There's one game we actually
sci-fi
got footage
medieval
of, which
world
looked
of
cool.
Wardenia. Players
Fucking
find
shite.
themselves in the middle of
And this is
war
supposed to be the
for
first proper
supremacy
night
over
of
the whole
E3.
planet.
This is the
There's something
first proper
interesting
night.
about the war.
The thing like the launch night thing last night was excellent.
Thing, often fighting for
It was an
survival
hour and a half.
well-being of their people.
They must have got through
So
about
the idea of the game
20
is to
games.
show the player
They had
the
2
war
live
and the
singing performances.
euphoria
They had
of the
bloody
winners,
Jeff
but also
Goldblum
the
turn
misery
up.
of the losers.
Had
to make the player realize
what's
the
the
number of
actor's
decisions
name
you
that
can make
does
in the game
who's
will
doing Far
affect
Cry
all
6?
the living beings in the war.
So you mentioned that you
Giancarlo,
make choices during The Last Aura Crew. How impactful are they?
I got that right.
The impact is major. First of all, you are the
I know.
one who decides which side will
At
win
least
the war.
tomorrow's
But
better.
there are
I mean,
many
tomorrow. I'll
different
tell you
roads
what's
through the
happening
game,
tomorrow.
and you can experience the whole
Tomorrow
game
we've got
only
the second
after
part of the
you have
indie
played.
game showcase.
I want to give every player
Then Wholesome
his own
Direct.
experience and try not to push
Then the
any moral
Ubisoft
code
one,
of what is wrong
which
and
is
what
like
right.
a
Simply, you make the decision
I
and
think that's at
actions, and based on
6
that,
o'clock
individual
our
characters
time.
have their own reaction.
Then Devolver
This creates different
Digital, who
situations.
do some really cool
So you
games.
can find your
And then
own
the
friends
VR
and allies
showcase.
and
So there's
play
5
the way how
showcases.
you
All
think
of them
it's
will be
right
better
for
than this
fun.
shit.
Exactly. Each player
Paint
can
drawing
define
simulator.
their own path to side with different factions or betray them and influence
The thing is, though,
future
last
of
night
each
was a good
race
sign of
and
what
in the
E3
end,
could be.
the entire
With the
planet,
Summer Game
basically.
Showcase, this is
And
terrible.
it is not done just by few choices somewhere
Ubisoft
in
should be good.
dialogues or by
Ubisoft
completing
would.
some
The
quests.
indie game
but
showcase
your
last week was good.
But by your continuous
Granted, it's a lot of
actions
indie games,
and decisions.
but that's cool.
Let me
They
give
showed.
you an
There was a
example.
show.
In a
Maybe
many
40
scenarios,
games in an hour and a
you are
half.
asked to kill
It was a
the
good
general of 13
showcase.
people. And you can obviously refuse doing that, but if you decide to kill him, there are many possibilities of what you can do with his head.
So far, this
which
stream,
serves
live
as a
stream,
proof
has got
of his death.
1.2K
You can keep it it and become
dislikes.
hero,
It's
or
lost
you can
over
give
half
it to
its
the
audience.
queen and come closer to her heart. Or
Show
you
you-
can
yeah,
give
oh,
it
man.
to another characters of this conflict with different
Ubisoft,
outcomes.
pretty bad games.
While I'm playing, guys, if I decide to be a
Some
little
yes,
bit
some no.
mischievous and kind of go down
I
the
do
route
feel
of
they're
everyone
becoming a bit of a
hating me,
one-trick pony, though,
what
mate.
does that mean for me?
Assassin's
there's an
Creed,
option that you will try
Far
to do
Cry,
as much harm to do as many games as possible, and there are some
Watch
dark
Dogs
characters
are
that will
practically
be
all the
pleased
same
by
game
that.
now.
However, cooperation with them may be eventually very painful.
I don't know what new they're going to show
That's
off.
another interesting thing, that often
don't know
there
what
is some
new.
hidden party involved
Devolver
in many
Digital
wars,
should
which
be good.
profits from both sides.
They
of
brought
the
out some good
conflict,
games
the conflict
recently.
itself. So that's a bit of the hidden part in the game, which you can play, but it
Xbox
will
and
be
Bethesda
relatively
on
difficult.
Sunday night.
So the game has
So I might as well
co-op.
say it. So
can a friend help me with the boss battles?
Saturday we've got
we play
indie
the whole
games
entire game together?
showcase.
How does this work?
We've got
those lonely nights when you play
Direct,
games
which is more indie games.
you, but you feel
Ubisoft Evolved Digital VR. Sunday we've got Xbox and Bethesda.
There is a great demand
we've got Square
for
Enix.
Play in the whole third-person.
We've got the PC gaming show and the future gaming show.
So we are sure that for our future
Monday we've got
audience,
Capcom.
the co-op is going to
Tuesday
be one
we've got
of the
Nintendo
most,
and
the
Bandai
key
Namco
features of our game. And that's why we went even farther.
Yeah,
we
it
have
takes too
many
long to play,
situations what can be solved in
Oh,
co-op
great! Yeah,
than in
there's that
single
new
player.
game
So
that
you
mixes
can find
it's a
new
mix
fun
of
ways to have to
Splinter Cell,
how to kill some bosses, or solve some puzzles, or
The
in
Division,
some special secret
and
areas. But you know,
shit,
at
what's
the
the
end
other one?
of the day, combat
Ghost
is bread
Recon.
and butter
It
of
takes
an,
characters from all three
RPG.
games.
So
Allegedly,
if you, for
that's
example,
going to
play
be
as a
shown.
mini-tank,
Allegedly.
while the second player plays magic support, you will enjoy tens of awesome hours of shared fun.
Oh, wait. So you're telling me there's magic and melee? What does this mean for the combat of the game?
Well, the combat is targeted at more experienced players. I'm very much on
There
the
are
base
some
of
more
recent
showcases to be
challenging
announced.
RPGs
They've
that
still
are
not
based on the
announced all of
skills
them.
of the player, timing, and stamina. We are trying to build some interesting magic mechanism in the game that would
Obviously,
let you use
Sony are not doing
more
anything
than
for
block and
E3.
fast attack buttons.
Electronic Arts aren't doing anything, but Electronic Arts are doing
don't
their own
forget that our word
showcase
has
in July.
sci-fi roots. So what is for someone magic can be for more developed culture or technology.
But be prepared to die.
A lot.
Like a lot. Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
And finally, guys, I
Thank
just want to ask
Christ.
you, what does it mean to be under Koch Media's brand new label?
Honestly, it was the best.
Yeah, they're
step
done with
to
that
doing
mobile
our
game.
development.
Yeah,
Developers
they're
will
supposed to be bringing it to
dramatically increase the
consoles. It's
capacity
like
of
going to be a
our
console
development team
version or
and focus
something.
primarily on the game itself. And yet, we still have the full creative control over the game.
There we go.
And all the feedback we
Jump
are
that
getting
to full
is
screen.
helping us to make better games. So far, it was the best decision ever.
Yeah, I'm very pleased that I could use my long-standing experience with big publishing houses and restructure the game and the
I'm
team
so
to
far
shape,
behind on
which
Assassin's
was
Creed
the right
games.
fit for such a strong partner as a
Because they're
Koch
so
Media.
big.
From the very beginning,
I'm about
of
5
our
games
cooperation
behind.
with
I stopped
Pavel, we
playing
were
them.
thinking big and aiming at building a really memorable new game franchise. And being part of the starting portfolio of a brand new Koch Media label gives us a great opportunity to fully achieve it.
Thank you so much, Pavel and Vladimir, for your time. It's been awesome talking to you about everything The Lust Aura Crew, and I just can't wait for people to get their hands on it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
We teased it in the sizzle, and now let's hear from our friends at Starbreeze to talk about Payday 2,
Yay!
Payday 3, and their upcoming cooperation with Prime Matter.
Finally, Payday 3.
Thank you, Jeff, and hi, everyone. We're excited to be here, excited to talk about Payday, and excited to be working
Same
with
here,
Prime
Gray.
Matter. At Starbreeze, we see Payday as the ultimate bank robbing experience, inspired by classic heist movies, providing adrenaline-fueled gameplay where you get to experience
The
the
only
thrill
game
of being on the wrong
I
side
want to
of the
get
law
that's
with
come
a
out
smart
this year
plan
so far,
and a gun in your
apart from the
hand.
medium that I've played and
This
completed,
is what we've been
is
doing
Resident Evil 8.
since the original game, Payday the Heist, through the sequel.
There isn't anything
Payday
else
2,
that I've gone,
to the
yeah, I want that.
Payday 3. And our ever-growing player community, our heisters, continue to be an inspiration for us in everything
Probably not,
we
mate.
do,
Probably looking at
pushing us
10:30 now.
to make the best Payday possible.
Finally, something decent.
The world of Payday is an exaggerated reflection of reality where order is kept by
Yeah,
the
tell him
law arm of the
10:30.
law.
This is supposed to be
At
the
least
last of the
until
12
the
games they're
heisters
talking
turn
about.
this order into
Allegedly,
chaos,
we'll see.
giving the law the middle finger. That's when adrenaline truly kicks in and
Thanks,
the
mate.
outnumbered gang keeps beating the odds, often escaping with the cash in a hail of bullets. The Payday universe has an ongoing narrative that has been created over the years. The gang has built a reputation by going after the highest profile targets, setting up some of the craziest heist plans, and going up against some of the most powerful of enemies. And through all of this, the gang keeps coming out on top. In their exploits, the gang has become, as they call it, the tightest crew ever. The wider criminal underworld of Payday lives its own life, where movers and shakers want a piece of the action, or a piece of the Payday gang. In the gang's life of crime, they are way past the point of no return. And as we look ahead for what's to come, the gang will learn that there's no rest
Not
for
looking
the
forward
wicked.
to Payday after they abandoned the Xbox version, but then made you buy it over and over. Yeah. Oh, Ron Perlman.
This legacy is something that we treasure and
It's
will
him
build
again.
on,
He's in Far Cry
expanding on
6.
this epic
Who I was just
story,
talking about.
taking you all with us into the future of Payday. Many millions of players have enjoyed Payday so far. It's been an amazing journey for us at Starbreeze. On Steam, Payday 2 has the biggest player community of any game. This truly means the world
Is it
to us.
you with the
Payday turns
FS
10
or
this
me?
year,
Twitch
but
playing up lately,
we're only
watching
getting
XQC
started.
last night. You had loads.
With our team,
I think that's you,
hard at
mate.
work,
Anybody else
cooperation
thinks
with
this is
Prime Matter
lagging?
and other partners.
I don't
and
think it
above
is.
all,
As far as
a
I can
fantastic
tell, I haven't got
player
any.
community.
Normally, if
We
I'm
are
lagging,
looking to
it
the future
comes up and
with
tells
great
me.
anticipation.
I'm rich. It's payday, fellas.
The release of Payday 3 is years away, but we
Years
could
away,
finish
man.
off today with a sneak peek of what we're working on. A
See, the
taste
thing about
of
it is,
things
I love
to come.
AC, the historical aspect. Same here. They are so historically accurate. I love learning the history and seeing the world during the time. Yeah, it looks good to me. Sorry, mate. It might be your end. Froze once, but it's all good here.
Well, there you have it. Quite a lineup. And Opal, I know we're going to be hearing much more from Prime Matter in the weeks and months ahead, right?
That's a great question, Jeff. Prime Matter will be taking a huge leap into the streaming world.
Sorry, but
from June the 14th,
so pre-recorded.
3 times a week.
It's shocking.
Every week, providing you guys with gameplay content, achievement and trophy hunting streams, as well as Dungeons and Dragons in our own universes, cooking streams, and so much more. We also want to get our developers involved and have it so that you guys
you'll
get
find
to know
that.
our developers
You'll
better.
find that. It's like if I
Not
try and watch
only that,
Netflix
but
at the same
expect
time
to
when you're
see
installing a game, it screws
a lot
it.
more shows from us in the future.
It's always the way. It's like the
Jeff
consoles
can help
can't
us
handle
out
it.
too.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what Prime Matter has for us in the future. Thanks for announcing with us yesterday at Summer Game Fest, and I look forward to being back with you again later this summer.
No worries, Jeff, and thank you for your time. It's been awesome hosting with you, and I can't wait to do more in the future. And a thanks to you guys.
Yeah, never upset.
For
He has
the streamers who
120,000
appreciate it,
viewers as well.
To our new gamers who are looking forward to the titles that we've shown you today. We are focusing on making
Sorry,
fun,
but so far this has been the
unique, and
worst,
honest content for you guys.
worst
So,
coverage.
Stay safe, stay cool, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.
Wow. That was by far the worst. Let's see what the chat's saying, because I think that's hilarious. Where's Saints Row? People are kicking off. Where's Saints Row? That was terrible. It had more dislikes than actual likes. What the F? What the F? No, never come back. What a horrible company. I said watching the timer. Watching the timer for the flipping Battlefield thing was more interesting than this. Yeah, man, that's ended. I'm gonna pause that. Let's get out of that. Right, folks. That's it from me, man. We should probably do a raid. Even that background, G's main effort. Look, it's crazy, isn't it? We should probably do a raid. Who should we raid? And we'll be back in about half an hour, folks. So what time is it now? 5:02. We'll be back at 10:30. We're going to do Outriders. Playing some Outriders. As promised. Only about an hour later than we hoped, but there you go. But yeah, let's do a raid. And I'll come back to me in about half an hour, folks. Let's see who's on. Screw it. Let's do this. I'm going to raid Berserk. Doing that now. He's on. I don't know. I think he's only on for about another 5 minutes, but go give him some love. And I'll run my end credits. And I'll see you guys in half an hour for something that might be a bit more interesting. There you go, folks. See you in half an hour. Bye.